Hi everyone, Susie here from Minnesota, and I garden in a zone 4B. It's the middle of June and I'm taking you on my shade garden tour. I'm trying to break up my garden tour so they don't get too long. The lamium is filling in beautifully. It's blooming very nicely. It's a little breezy today, nice and cool, about the mid-70s. Yesterday we were 95. We had a nice rain today, which is good because they're talking 90s and 100 on Sunday and 102 on Monday. So my plants will greatly appreciate this. So things are going to look a little because of the rain. It's Hearty Geranium. It is really pretty, but unfortunately the rain has made those blooms kind of downturn. But the heuchera is looking fantastic. What can I say? This is outperforming itself this year. The Jacob's Ladder Plumonium is still blooming. This has been a long time. As you can see, in the foliage at the bottom has been yellowing due to a lack of rain. Yeah, before we had too much rain, now not enough. And then the Chantilly Lace Goat's Beard, look at that. This is its first full year in the ground. It will get bigger than this, but just love them. And the birds are loving this rain too. The Sun Kings, they just glow when it's overcast. Love this. And then back here, this has been struggling a little bit, but it's starting to look a little bit better, is the Black Lace Elderberry. I was deciding what I wanted to do, but I think right now I'm going to leave it. I have a hard time growing shrubs there. I feel like it's kind of a hot spot, but it's perked up a little bit. Not going to focus too much over here. I really need to get in here and weed. This was an area I was going to work in, and I've decided just to kind of leave it. And this will be changing next year greatly. I do like these heucheras here. That chartreuse color really pops in the shade. I have to get back there and control that. That is creeping bellflower. That is crazy. Solomon seal is yellowing. I've never had that happen before, but I have enough of it. And then the hydrangeas down here. I don't know if I'm going to get any blooms this year, but at least they're leafing out nicely. The lamium is blooming nicely over here also. I think I'll feel better about this garden once I can get in there and weed. It's just been, the mosquitoes have been pretty bad, so I haven't been wanting to. This is very shady, and they just kind of attacked me here. The Sum and Substance this year has done really well. The size of these leaves, so much better. I don't know if you can, so liking that. And then One Last Dance looks fantastic. I want to say we probably got about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of rain. It might not be a lot, but believe me, these plants are loving it. Curly fries hosta. Especially if you can see, yeah, they kind of go flat if they don't have enough water. I hope that perks back up. I hope that's all it is. Sometimes it could just be critter damage too. Oh, we had hail probably 3 weeks, 2 weeks ago. So it really took it on the king size hosta here. So that's what you're seeing on all these leaves. A number of them have that damage, but it still looks great. And the heuchera is still blooming down here. I love this color. It just glows over here. When hostas get a good amount of moisture, they stand just a little bit taller, which I like. I know down here with the heucheras, what I have been seeing is a lot of yellowing and browning at the bottom. I told myself, I'm not watering this year. They just have to pull through. Oh, this one looks a bit better, the Japanese painted fern. But then again, this has got more of a water source because of my sump pump. But that hasn't been pushing out a whole lot either. This just has one plume on it, the goat's beard. This will get tall eventually. The Brunera is about done, so I'm going to go in there and I'll trim off all the flower heads and let that big foliage kind of push through. Another goat's beard, but this one is very mature. I think it looks amazing. I think this Brunera is the prettiest. It just glows. I love this one. And let's see here. It's got its flower spikes on it. Just might be a white. Maybe they're not quite open. And if they are, this one's not quite as nice. This grass here is looking really good, the Hakana coral grass. After this video, I'm going to go to the garden center and pick up some mulch. It's not where I normally get it. I usually have about 8 to 10 yards delivered. This year, I'm not doing a whole lot with mulching. I will next year, once all my garden beds are figured out. But I love to mulch after a rain. Pulmonaria, looking fantastic. This is the spearmint heuchera over here, and this is where the blooms are just beautiful. And against that foliage color, really nice. I'm just letting all of these go dormant, and they were the grape hyacinths. I have some daffodils in here. At some point I'll go in and trim them all up. My stilbies look pretty good. This was all just one plant, and I divided into 4 last year. This one will probably bloom a bit better than the others. Komodo dragon this year is amazing. I'm just really liking that one. And then the other one that I think is just amazing right now is Dancing Queen. It got huge this year, and it just absolutely glows. World Cup, and the reason why it's called World Cup is because the leaves are more cupped-like. Just looking down here, this is Marmalade Heuchera. It's not doing fantastic. It was looking pretty good, and then, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the best at growing Heuchera. Kind of treat it like a short-lived perennial. I have better luck starting them from seed. Very happy with this astilbe down here. It's got a number of flower spikes coming along, so definitely going to be looking better this year than last year. And this one too, I moved this last year. I did a video on it. It just loves its life over here. I don't know what it is. This was one of my first astilbes, and for some reason it took so long to find the right spot, and I'm ecstatic. Oh, look at my bench. Crazy. Back here I have a tiny wine 9-bark. Looking great. I'm very happy to see blooms on it. Kind of hard to see there. The Camasias are going over. I'm going to give them a little bit. I'm hoping they self-seed. And then I'll just cut off those flower spikes. This is getting some flower spikes too. Sorry, there's a bug. Blood sorrel. Oh no, this is what I saw. There you go. And then it can self-seed. I really like the foliage on this plant. I left the giant fleece flower for now. I think next year I'll try and figure out where I want to put that. I'll go to the back of the garden too, and I left one of these, and actually there's kind of a nice scent to it. I don't know if it's kind of a vanilla scent. I'm not sure, but so this one wasn't quite such an eyesore. I'm kind of glad I left it. I have, oh, the mosquitoes are up too. Down here, just caladium corms planted in here. They like warm, hot temps, so it'll take a little bit for them to come up. I had some left over, and that's where I put them. The turtle head is doing amazing. Love the shrub, Ciboria sorbifolia stem. And it is starting to get all of its flower heads, which is going to be covered in them. Love, love, love. You can definitely see I say shrub, but there's only one in here, and this is as how bad it's run. But in this area I'm kind of okay because I'm really struggling. The rabbits did get to some of this in here. I'm waiting to see it bloom. Like I said, this is campanula. It does look a bit weedy. I still have to figure out what I want to do in here. Most of my bee balm, Monarda, has died. I'm not seeing any come up due to the heavy rains we had, what, a month ago or so. So none returned. I'm really bummed about that, at least over here. At least it offered some color. I'm just leaving everything down here for the time being. I know I have a resident rabbit living somewhere in the shrub. I can hear it when I'm walking in here, just kind of scooting around. But the Hearty Geranium right down is doing really good. The ground cover, I was going to move it. I still need to figure out where I want to put it. Just somewhere with rock. And then this is Persian Blue and Apita, and it's loaded and flower heads. I was going to move it to my cottage garden, but it's doing so good here. I'm just going to wait and let it look really good here. And then the Creeping Jenny, honestly, I think this looks amazing. I know I have issues with this plant. It's a love-hate, but I just love how it cascades. And the other thing, it's just kind of with my fish, and yes, I named my planters Wanda, just kind of like a sea of green behind her. So I'm hoping it kind of comes through. I think that'd be kind of cool. I've been having issues with aphids on this rose. And I just took like a stream of water, like pretty powerful, yeah. And just doused it. So I'm hoping that helps. But this is Oh So Easy Paprika Rose. And it's still doing good. I would say this is a part sun situation, if not less. This used to be my sunniest. Now it's probably one of my shadiest, which is probably one of the issues for some of the plants in here. Look how tall this valerian got. I would say 6 feet tall. Let me just see. I was like, there we go, smushing them all. That was gross. Oh, actually, they were ants. I was thinking they were aphids, but they were ants. Must be a really sweet smell to this. So, and it is, to me, it's very sweet. So I'm leaving it. It is a bit big. I have a hard time walking in here, which I'm gonna have to. I just don't want to get covered in ants. This stuff has to go to the weight. Oh, this one, look. But look at this Baptisia. It looks amazing. Nice blue. Can we see them? I have lots of wrens nesting all over in my birdhouses, which is so neat. He's right there. I love them. That's why I have as many birdhouses as I do. Giant alliums. But yeah, I'll go to the back. Unfortunately, this peony here due to be drowned out. That's all I have left. And I'm going to come in here and just cut it. It was one of my favorites. Just a single petal variety, which gets massive, I would say. Like a dinner plate size. Oops. Sorry, a little shaky there, but trying to get through that area is... I wasn't expecting that to get that big, to tell you the truth. I thought about 4 feet. I'm just going to go to the back. And then I'll do a tour of my cottage garden too. I feel that the videos get too long. Back here, goat's beard. This looks really good. Look at the size of this. Oops, that one's kind of going over, but it's got lots of blooms coming on. Native alum root. I think I'm just going to come in here and get rid of these flower spikes. These aren't very nice looking, but it's really good with the foliage. I mean, not spectacular, but it's definitely filled in this area. I had to tie in the clematis here because it was just going a bit long. I still have to get in here, and there's a lot going on. This one's doing this is Viticella Polish Spirit, and this is Pink Mink. That's doing really good climbing. More of the goat's beard. This hosta is absolutely huge, like width-wise. I love the way the pagoda dogwood looks on a cloudy day, golden shadows. It just glows. I know all of the blooms have gone over, so it should be putting out berries at some point. I'm just going to move this. It was windy yesterday. They're talking high winds tomorrow, so that's going to be fantastic. That looks good. Another massive hosta. I think it's just a common one. I don't know the name of this. Here's a better look of the tiny wine nine bark. And again, this used to be mainly shade until the pine tree behind me in the neighbor's yard was taken down. And it's become kind of a part sun situation. Korean featherweed grasses, I think, look really good. And then this is where not many blooms on this peony. At least there's some, though. I think there's going to be 2. Then I came out the other day, and then my Annabelle Hydrangea was wilting down here, so I don't know what that's about. But we'll see. I would love to plant something else there. But again, this is where they're going to be working when they take my trees down. I just don't think it makes sense to plant. Look. Honeysuckle. And the hummingbirds love this. I think there's one just over here. I could hear its wings. That little, I don't know, hum. It's just glorious. This has to be one of my favorite vines. And you can see how it's winding its way around there. I'm thinking about getting another one for the other side at some point. Not this year, next year. Just because there is a lot of weight on the side of that arch. But look at the ground. It's like confetti. Look at this. And it's all over. I have a feeling those high winds are just going to knock those blooms off. So yeah, so the only place I'm going to mulch is around my kennel right now. I am not going to put grass seed over there. Kind of like, why? They're going to be working back here at some point. It's just save myself the trouble and just wait and do it all at once. And it'll be easier to grow grass in the fall than it is right now when we're talking, what, 90s and 100s soon. It's been difficult for me this year because I've kind of been taking just a back seat to everything, to gardening, and just, I'm itching to plant, but then I'm telling myself just hold off till next year. I do have some of my seedlings left over that I would like to get planted still, but definitely not whenever we're going to be getting into the hundreds. And they're all not that. That looks tough. But these over here, these still look really fantastic. Lots of heuchera. These are all just seeds I started. I have some lupins in here. Obedient plant, I'm still struggling with where I want to plant that because I know that can be aggressive. And then some dahlias that they're doing okay, but they're looking a little yellow, which they should get a shot of fertilizer at some point. I'm surprised the Baptisia is doing as good as it is over here. Just because of kind of that part sun. I don't know, I am kind of liking that valerian. So yeah, so like I said, I love mulching after rain. Otherwise, if I were to mulch, I'd have to water everything in very thoroughly, then mulch. Because putting mulch on top of dry soil doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially when after this there's no rain in the forecast for who knows. Hearty Geranium down here looking really good. Alright. So this is the end of my shade garden tour. I think everything's doing really good right now. I keep going back to this tree here, but I'm in love with this tree, I'm not going to lie. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed, and bye for now.